I learned very valuable life lessons from my father and uncles when I was 12 years old. Lessons that helped me power through difficult situations in my life. Lessons I learned the hard, the difficult, and scary way. Mr. Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters and guests, my father and his 4 brothers used to own a fishing business. They had 4 fishing boats, traditional ones that you would find quite often in Mediterranean countries. Handmade, made of wood, 14 meters in length, 6 meters in width, with 1 cabinet, half of which occupied by a very noisy engine. The other half is for people to relax or prepare food. On Saturday, 7th of June 1986, just 1 day before Germany played Scotland in the World Cup in Mexico, it was another fishing day, and I would go on that trip. My father and his brothers prepared one of the boats. It was an extraordinary day. The weather was exceptional. The sky was as clear as crystal. The wind did not exist. Instead, there was a cool, refreshing breeze, summer breeze. And the sea was as quiet and calm as a mouse. At 4 p.m., the boat was ready, supplies loaded, fuel, water, food. The fishing nets were prepared and cleaned, and everybody was on board. As we sailed away from the harbor, dolphins showed up and started jumping along the boat, doing all these incredible dives and moves. It was extraordinary. 3 hours later, after non-stop sailing, we reached the point or the location where we throw the net. It was 7-ish p.m. The sun was disappearing on the horizon, smiling at us and wishing us a good luck. 1 hour later, job was done, all the nets were in the sea, and we started to sail towards the nearest rocky shore to spend the night. Indeed, an hour later we reached our destination. A massive, heavy anchor was lowered, signaling it was a time for food and fun. My father and one of his brothers prepared the food. The others were singing or playing cards, and I was diving and swimming in that beautiful Mediterranean water. About midnight, wind started to pick up. It was very strange to see such a wind in such a time of the year, in such a location. My father and his brothers, uncles, decided to sail away from the rocky shore towards the net, pick them up and sail back home. Their intuition told them that this wind, nothing good would come out of this one. Indeed, 15 to 20 minutes later, as we sailed away from the rocky shore, doors of hell opened. Thunders rumbled, shook the sea. Lightning lit up the sky. Massive wall of water ran down. It was a fierce and ferocious storm. They decided to abandon going to the fishing net, turn around and head towards the city, head towards the harbor. It was a very risky decision, but because we'd be sailing against the storm, but it was riskier to sail farther away from the city. We were asked to put life jackets on, and I was asked to stay in the room. I could not. Moments later, I jumped out of the room and I stayed next to my father and his younger brother as they were behind the wheel. And then came that scene that I would never forget. A scene that shook my soul. A scene that I could only think that I would see in a movie. A scene that could only be created by a very professional special effect specialist. A wave as high as a few meters, dark, ferocious, with the power of destruction, was heading towards us. I was utterly paralyzed. My eyes stared with fear. My mouth was wide open. I was able to taste the salt of the seawater and the fresh of the rainwater. My legs were shaking like leaves in a windy day. The plan was to head towards. The plan was to push the boat as fast as possible to reach the top of the wave before it broke. For a boat that was not designed for such a harsh condition, that was a huge risk. But indeed, my father and my uncle pushed the boat as fast as possible, and as we climbed up that wave, we reached the top of it. We were able to see the lights of the harbor of the city. That was a sign of motivation. That was a sign of relief. That was a sign of life. But that scene did not last for long, as the boat abruptly descended towards the bottom of that wave until it hit that surface of the water. And the boat held. The question was, how long? It was made of wood after all. Indeed, we had to fight wave after wave, climb up and smash down for hours and hours until sunrise. When the storm disappeared, the wind became lighter and the wave became friendlier. We sailed in the harbor of the city and we were shocked by the scene. Boats inside the harbor were sank. Cars were pushed by the waves, by the wind into the water. Massive containers were crushed against each other like paper. My mother, my uncle's wife and kids, family, friends, member of the rescue team, member of the army were waiting to see just a glimpse of our boat. And when they saw that, they became excited. As we stepped out of the boat, emotions ran really high. Cries, tears, hugs and kisses, as everybody congratulated us to come back from the dead. That day, I learned that life is full of unpleasant events. That day, I learned to face these events, I need to keep cool, I need to keep calm. One more thing I learned that day, Germany beat Scotland 2-1. It wasn't still a game. Thank you very much.